So, let's have a second review about these two books, which are still in their covers, so I will have to unpack them first to maybe read the first sentence of each of them and the last. So there you have the couple. On the left you see the child, the woman is on the right, and this child has, if this were a transvestigation, you would say this is a boy with long hair, no widow's peak, a flat chin, big mouth, and the eyes are not close together, right? But this is no transvestigation. This is just looking at those two books that the mother wrote. It's not, it's like her experiences with this very special child that was born as a twin. It's a real nice book, you know, has, and even you see, I mean, this word you have read before if you are into tarot and Kabbalah and Christianity and the Bible and runes and Feng Shui and I Ching, and I did it all, so that's why I know this is bullshit. It's a nice book, you know, the colors and how stiff it is. It's good made, good. Nice work. So, ein Großteil der Menschheit erfährt das eigene Leben wohl als eine mehr oder weniger willkürliche Abfolge von glücklichen und unglücklichen Zufällen. Zugegebenermaßen gehörte auch ich zu diesen Menschen. So that's the mother starting this whole series by saying the majority of people experience their lives as a continuous row of lucky and unlucky Zufällen, lucky strikes. And she said that she herself was one of those. And now she's like implying there's gonna be a, here it says, a unauffälliges Mädchen, that would be a hardly to recognize girl. Not as we see her now, as this light and love giving figure that's explaining about something you cannot know anything about the unseen universe. It's nothing to do with esoterics and exoterics. Like, there is groups of people knowing everything possible to know. So if this 17-year-old girl knows everything possibly knowable for humans, then she shall talk about the visible world, because we don't know what's happening when we die. We don't know what was before we were born. Never ever. We forget. Our brains build up when we are in the womb. We learn the sounds the mother gives us and the foods she eats, but it's building up. There were some 2, they say, cells becoming 4, and then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So you have like a building construct, a human being that has no brains. So it's building up. So you cannot know anything that was existing before that has happened. And when you die, it's the same. Your brain has got no air supply you die because of that and the heart stopping to function. So what happens? Your brain isn't able to think no more. So whatever happens after that, you won't know anything about it, even if you don't die completely and come back, as people say they have. I read books, a Swiss-German one that had a car accident, and these Time Life books, and also from here this provider. There were lots of mentionings of these facts, people having near-death experiences, because this Govinda sells a lot of books, esoteric books. So we got the first sentence, and I tell you, even if we read some, she's priming us to think, I was like you are right now, because this book is aimed at 50 and 60-year-old people and older, not at 17-year-olds. You would have to make a Insta account and tell your story via Insta stories. That one would talk to the 17-year-olds. So let's read the last sentence. Now we know that all the story has been told about that really special child that was able to kind of ask very special questions to her mother, and then the mother asking back at her. Then Christina would kind of map the invisible world, the hierarchies, and how things are ordered in this world of energies and soul and individuals having a soul, the world having a soul, plants having a soul, and how all this comes together. Now here you see a kind of a witch-like smile. When she has to look into the camera, she cannot hide that she's like, she's not this kind, he is not this figure that we want to see in him. When would you smile like this? Not really being able to look into the camera straight and to smile like, oh, we have been making up a story for people to believe. Well, it would look like this. I'm really surprised they put that in here. Well, the last. There it is, by Christina, some last words. But the very last words the mother wrote was how we will continue, or how it will continue. There are three major words: freedom, truth, and love. Well, I've been working in the garden, so my fingernails are again a bit... So she says something about this freedom, then about truth, and then something about love. And it's even a promotion for further Christina books. The first one. So that's just milking the esoteric market, what they do. I'm not going to read it, so let's get to the first sentence of the second one. I will throw them away. I knew someone, I wanted to give them to him, but I have lost his number since I don't have a cellular phone. So even this one is nicely done. I like it when things have a good solid touch, but in this case this good solid feel does not have to translate onto the content, because the content is very vague. And here I see there is even a third one, which I haven't got hold now. So the first sentence would be a new, here it says, world view. Here we start. Winter 2017-18. Vor wenigen Monaten ist unser erstes Buch Christina, Zwillinge als Lichtgeboren erschienen. Und seitdem hat sich in unserem Leben so einiges verändert. Wie schon seit vielen Jahren leben meine jetzt 16,5-jährige Tochter Christina, mein 14-jähriger Sohn Mario und ich gemeinsam mit unseren Tieren, Pflanzen und Steinen in unserem Zuhause im Tockenburg. Wow, they live in the area that I have lived. Lots of hills, stubborn people. So when you come out with something like this over there, you won't have any friends. And if it says they just have written winter 17-18, this is a year ago. So they made a lot of money in 1 year then, I guess. So let's read the last sentence and then we go somewhere into the middle and read anything. So I was reading a bit so that I can prove to you that when people get born and they have a lot of problems, they tend to stick onto interior helpers to soothe them. That's what Christina might have done, for one of her twin siblings has died after birth somewhere. And the thing I wanted to prove was that these people nowadays, they intake so many media, TV, newspapers, magazines, advertisements, flyers, people's talk in the official transport systems, that they have a lot of common views onto the world, which is the view that was instilled into them by this brainwashing. That's brainwashing. Whatever you see and hear, you take in and it becomes your thinking. So I read that there was somehow this one world thing going around again. So she says here that Christina seems to have views regarding the future often. And well, there is nothing interesting about this whole thing here. It's like when you have a book from this publisher and you mention this publisher in your book, so you're like riding on this wave of success. Why would you do that if you really have the non-material world in mind? That's one thing. I know everything is connected, they would say, but if you really want to teach people about the hierarchy, if there is one, of the non-visual world, then you should stick to that. It would be nice not to go and brag about your book, because we know all media outlets are owned by a few big conglomerates. In the end, a few families. 0.0001% owns 99% of our world. Not 1%, 0.0001 owns 99%. So these people decide that we have to be brainwashed with these things all the time. And here it's again about, about one world order. Again, it is. I just wanted to read